Anyway, I'm putting off talking Spurs because it upsets me so much. Look, Barry Glendenning, Just Giving. Go on, donate all your money. They go to Sunderland today. They're in the relegation zone. Chris Cowlin, Spurs expert, Spurs Chat podcast host as well, joins us now. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Max, Charlie, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
How am I? Well, we're sitting in the relegation zone right now, so, things are pretty bleak. 5 points this calendar year, and our last win was 105 days ago. It has to happen. This is another throw of the dice. Roberto De Zerbi coming in. I'm hoping to see a win in Sunderland today. I've just got here, and we've got to win. We've got to win. Nothing less than a win today.
But I agree with you. Nothing less than a win. But is there anything that leads you to think we might win?
Well, when you look at the stats, 5 points this calendar year, and that's 5 draws. And when you look at West Ham, the fight and desire that they're showing right now, they've picked up 18 points. In January, we were 13 points above the relegation zone, and now we find ourselves in the relegation zone. So, things do have to change. It is another throw of the dice, as I've said. We've had 3 managers this season, 4 in the last 10, 11 months since Ange Postecoglou won us the Europa League trophy. But these players, we know that they're capable of a lot more, Max. So it's about, these players giving a lot more. It's about the manager now getting a lot more out of these players. From what I've seen this week, from the clips that the football club have put out, from the training sessions and, from the media, and from the press conference from De Zerbi, we're hearing the right things. But as De Zerbi said in the press conference, it is about, the players delivering on the pitch, not a Hotspur way in training sessions. So, we have to give more. We're in a position now where we have to be fighting, and we haven't seen much fight, in recent months.
Yeah, I said this yesterday. Our friend and colleague, Paul Hawksby, just thinks haven't got enough players, too many injuries, not a big enough squad that's available to play. To do it. Can you think of an 11 or a 13 that could do it today? Is it, or is it just not there?
Whoever is playing, though, Charlie, they need to give 100%. And we could sit here and talk about injuries. We had injuries last season as well.
Yeah.
This is on the board, in my opinion. This is on the board members and the owners, because we should never, ever be in this position. This isn't me sitting here being arrogant in any way, shape or form, because we knew the position we were in last season, 22 league defeats. We find ourselves now in the relegation zone. Spurs fans, thousands of us, millions of us around the world knew that this was coming this season, and the January transfer window simply wasn't good enough. Thomas Frank should have gone out the door a lot sooner. Igor Tudor, his 44-day stint, that was an absolute disaster. Yeah. And now, as I said, another throw of the dice with De Zerbi, and let's see how this works out. But whoever does play today, whoever he does pick in this starting 11, they need to give grit, passion, determination. They need to give absolutely everything to show this Tottenham Hotspur fan base that we are up for the fight, because this is all we can do now. We can always live in hope, and we have to give everything on the pitch, because the fans are giving everything. It's all down to the players.
Mm-hmm. How much have you stared at Tottenham's running and then looked at Forest's running and Leeds running and West Ham's running?
Well, I watched the game, Max, on Friday night, the West Ham game. And when Spurs slipped into the bottom 3, I feel physically sick seeing Spurs in the bottom 3. And when you look at these fixtures, our remaining 7 games, if I was to ask you two, what's an easy game in the Premier League? When you look at our fixtures, Sunderland, you've got Brighton and Wolves this month. Then in May, we've got Aston Villa, Leeds, Chelsea, Everton. What's an easy game? Is an easy game Wolves away? I don't know. This team needs to give a lot more. We know that these players are capable of a lot more. Of course, we've got the World Cup in the summer. Are these players going to be thinking about the World Cup, or are, their minds on these remaining 7 games as 7 cup finals? Because, to think that Spurs could actually be in the Championship, next season, it's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think they'd nail it in the Championship either. So who steps up, Chris? Which player? I think Archie Gray has had a good season, right? Yeah. And I'm trying to think around the pitch if anyone else has. And you've watched every minute of Tottenham. I haven't. Who
Jed Spence,
who is good enough to step up?
Jed Spence had a good season.
I think
all right.
I think in recent games, and I think a lot of Spurs fans will agree with me here, you've mentioned Archie Gray. I think Kevin Danso has really been a good player for us. Matisse Tell is giving absolutely everything as well. But we need to see players like Romero really step up to the mark now. He's meant to be the leader. He's meant to be the captain of this team. He needs to step up, show exactly what he's capable of, World Cup winner. But every single senior player needs to give absolutely more. I know I keep repeating that, saying that the players need to give more because, this season, they haven't given what they are capable of. And it has been a collective problem. There has been problems at board level, all the way down to the bench. With the managers, the amount of managers that we've had, the players have underperformed. There's been boos at the stadium, home and away games. It has been a disaster of a season. If Spurs can somehow get to the end of the season and remain a Premier League team, major changes do need to be made. And you guys have also mentioned the injury crisis as well under Ange Postecoglou, in previous seasons, under multiple managers this season. Transfer windows need to be a lot better. There are so many issues at the football club right now. And as I say, it's very, very sad to see Spurs sit in the bottom three.
Hey, we live in hope. We live in hope, Chris. Good luck.
Get Barry up to 100k, by the way.
Oh, well, we
yes,
tried.
okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's
Chris,
up to you, Chris.
A 20k donation from Chris Cowlin there. What a good man he is. We'll play the clip. Thank you, Chris. Chris Cowlin then, part of the talkSPORT network as well, the host of the Spurs Chat Podcast and updates, of course, on the Sunday Game Day Live with this. The Sizzler says, donated to the running man. Anything to help get to 80k. Nota Baladze. Hey, Broadcasting's Mark Pugach donated 50 quid. I want to hear this clip. Okay, we've got to get to 90 grand.
Thank you, Pugach.
We are at £80,007.
Come on now. We're over 80.
We need 10. Are we going to get it in an hour and 15? I don't think we're going to get it.
I think it's slowing down.
I don't know. You think it's slowing down?
Do we know how he's getting on? Do we know where he is on the course?
Has he run past should have about 2 minutes to go. Why isn't what reporter would be? Why isn't Graham Courtney there?
Yeah, the judge. Why is Alan Biggs?
Where's Beaky?
I'll tell you why Alan Biggs isn't there. Too busy on the
He's on the fags, isn't he? Where's Beaky? Come on.